Perky Plains and RC here, operating at 2.4 gigahertz, and got the good old coffee. And now with Coffee Vision. Yes. Hey there, guys. Good morning, and yes, on coffee, actually. To tell you the truth, I've actually been drinking coffee for the past, I don't know, maybe a couple months or so. I'm guessing. I don't remember exactly when I started, but it's been probably a couple months or so. Um, and generally, what I do is I'll have like one cup in the morning, just to sort of get me going, and then the rest of the time I'll have water. Completely cutting out most of my diet Mountain Dew or any of that kind of stuff. In fact, primarily it's coffee in the morning and then water the rest of the time. Every once in a great while, I might go to a restaurant and have a little bit of diet Pepsi or whatever or something like that, but it's not super common. It's mainly coffee and water. Um, Interesting thing about me and coffee, when I first started, um, someone who I was talking to, he basically was like, his recommendation was just to do it black. He was just one of those drink it black, and be fine with it. And actually, I started doing that, and I acquired a taste for it pretty well. I could do black coffee just fine, but I think as times went on a little bit, I've sort of doctored it up a little bit to my preference, and I know a lot of people out there have their preference on how they like their coffee. So pretty much what I do, if I don't drink it black, which I still do sometimes, then I will doctor it up with a little bit of artificial sweetener. Now, my preference on this is stevia. Um, I think it's more of a natural substance, and it sweetens it up just enough. And of course, no calories. So that's kind of my preference. So if I don't drink it black, which like I said, I still do occasionally, then I'll just put a little bit of stevia in it, and I'm good. I don't do any creamer or anything like that in it. Um, if I do, it's very rare. On occasion, I might have some creamer or something, but either black or a little bit of stevia, and I'm good. So, all right. Well, it is a rainy day here, so obviously no flying today, and that's completely okay because I'm still working on projects and things like that. So now something I want to talk about today is the PVC rack in the building, um, which I will show you here in just a minute. Basically, I will tell you this much: it is not complete yet. Um, I've been gradually doing it like section by section. I think in one of my previous videos, I mentioned like doing this section, up through here with like with like the rack to hold my airplanes. Um, for those you guys that don't know or just tuning in or anything, I pretty much have a lofted storage building barn kind of thing here for my hangar, and I've already got a lot of stuff on the walls here and everything. So I didn't want to put airplanes and mount them on the walls because I already had stuff there, and I just thought it was kind of a cool coincidental thing to basically say, hey, why not put your airplanes up high because they fly, of course. Um, so why not just mount them up high, basically, up toward the ceiling and so forth. So that's more or less what I've adopted. And I know some people out there too. They'll if they do any kind of mounting airplanes, they'll hang them from the ceiling and all that. So basically, that's kind of what I'm adopting as well. Except I was trying to look into the PVC option with it, and basically to do PVC off of a lofted barn that has that has some angles to it and everything like that. I had to get a little bit creative in terms of how I was going to mount the PVC on there because when you've got a wall that's at an angle like this, mounting PVC can be a little bit tricky. So I had to just kind of play around with some different options to see what I could do. So let me go ahead and demonstrate here kind of what I've done. I've only got a couple sections up right now. I actually just got the second one mounted up yesterday, and so far so good. So anyways, let's get going. All right, guys, this is what the chaos looks like right now. I just finished this section yesterday. And then over here, of course, is my original section. I started out with just doing 3 planes on the first section here. And I thought I would get a little brave and was thinking, like, let's see if I can do 4 planes in this section. So um, I managed to do it, to get 4 planes in this section right here. And let me get a little closer and show you guys basically what I'm doing. Um, I will tell you this much. I don't want to provide exact measurements just because um, the whole setup is very custom. And I don't think everybody will be doing something like this, but it might inspire you for your own ideas or anything like that. So, um, and I think, and also just the simple fact too that my building and storage area could be a lot different than what yours is. So I don't want to give you an exact measurement to say this is what you should do, but it, like I said, at least gives you an idea. So, anyways, let me give you guys a closer look here on how we did this. Okay, so one of the first things I had to sort of do is that, obviously I wasn't building this on a flat surface. I wasn't building this on, a flat level 90-degree section or anything. So that was one of the first things I had to overcome was figure out something to build at an angle. And the second thing is that this right here is only wide enough to probably fit one little section of PVC. And I wanted to try to maximize my space as much as possible. So I started doing these little blocks right here. So this is about a 5-inch block. So what I could do is I can mount a rack on one side of the joist and then mount a rack on the other side of the joist. So that kind of allows me some extra room to do that. So I did one block up right there, and I also did one, up a little higher as well. Okay. As far as the PVC that I used, this is 1/2 inch. I think most people recommend, 1/2 inch for doing like the lightweight foam airplanes, which is what these sections over here are going to be for. It's just mainly foam stuff. So, anyways, so did 1/2 inch PVC. As far as my little racks here, you can kind of see kind of the outline of what I did. Basically, I started with a 90-degree at the top, just a 90-degree elbow, and then I did a T-junction at every point on the rack for each additional airplane, and then finally I did a T-junction at the bottom of the rack. And then from each section, either the 90 degrees or the T-junctions, I did like a little, I think it was maybe about a 1-inch like little spacer, or 1-inch section of PVC, and then I attached another elbow, and this one is actually a 45-degree. So basically in each case, whether it's the elbow here or the T-junction, it's starting out at 90 degrees and then going to 45. So then kind of give it the upward angle. Obviously if I did a straight 90-degree here, it would be angled down, and then planes, of course, would be on the floor. So that's what we more or less did. So 90-degree here, a little 1/2 inch or an inch connector pipe inside, and then a 45-degree here, and then, of course, the rest of my stand from that point. And honestly, this right here is the only section that I use the PVC cement on. Just because, where it's coming out like this, we don't want this to actually fall off here and go down. So this is the only section right here that I glued. The rest of it, honestly, is either screwed in place, as you can see right there. I didn't even really glue the T-junctions really. Like I said, it's just this little connector piece right there is all I glued on it. So that's pretty much it. And then I've been using this 1/2 inch pipe insulation, on each of the ends there. I ran out of the insulation right here, so I need to go get some more. But basically, that's what I did. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. That's basically the basics on the PVC rack that I did. Like I said, it's a very custom job. I don't think anybody out there would do something quite like that, or have to build, or maybe have to build in an environment like this. So, but if in the event if someone ever does, or if you're just curious on how I did it, that's more or less how it is. Like I said, I don't want to provide exact measurements because this particular thing is so custom. I don't think it would apply to everybody. And if something like this were to work for somebody, then it probably would be, you'd have to kind of do your own measurements yourself. I will tell you this much. I think I tried to space the planes out by 13, 14 inches. between each airplane, and the actual post that comes out that the plane sits on, that's about a foot, basically, just 12 inches for that. Um, so that kind of gives you a rough idea as far as some of the measurements there. But and like I said, I was all about trying to maximize space. So both racks are of course measured out differently. So the first rack has its own measurements in place, and then I actually went and measured alongside the first rack to sort of stagger, um, the planes so that they weren't. Because if you think about it, you don't want two racks at the you don't want both racks to have the same height and everything as the previous one, because then your planes would just be smacking into each other and all that. So you want to try to keep things staggered so you can sort of fit the second rack's airplanes in between where the first ones are. So that way, like I said, you maximize your space. So that's more or less what I was going for in that case. Is I wanted to sort of have them staggered like that. So each rack is going to be a little bit different. That way I can fit in the airplanes as I need. So, but that, like I said, that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions or anything about the PVC rack setup, please leave me a comment and anything below. I'd be glad to answer it for you. Like I said, it's very much it was very much a custom thing, and probably not many of them out there like that. So, and of course, there are plenty of other PVC options and things like that out there. Um, Something I do want to mention as well, that I haven't mentioned yet, is the overall cost of the materials. And now, of course, right now, what's material costs now compared to how they're going to be or how they were. But basically, I'm spending about, just to give you a rough idea, the all the elbows and the 45 degrees and the T junctions, those are averaging about $1 a piece, roughly. So um, that's kind of what you're looking at there is for that kind of stuff. Is about $1 a piece for um, all the different elbows and connectors. The actual PVC itself, like I said, I'm getting 1/2 inch PVC, and for I think it's 8 foot. I think it's 8 foot PVC. I'm not sure, 8 or 10, something like that. I'm paying about $5 for that. So that PVC is very affordable in that case, really. So $5 for a big old 8 foot, 10 foot thing of PVC, and like I said, about $1 or so per all your elbows and stuff. And of course, buying the glue if you want to use the glue. I think it was like $10 or $12 for it. So that's kind of what you're looking at as far as cost. If I had to estimate, I would say roughly about $50 right now total in that. Considering all the elbows and things like that I had to put in. So you can build these things pretty affordably, and I think PVC is a very common thing in the RC plane world. You can make little test stand or little. You can actually make PVC stands out of airplane stands out of PVC, and of course people doing PVC racks and everything too. So it's a pretty affordable solution for doing anything like that. But anyways, I'm done. I need to get to work and do some other things around here. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.